Okay, it's a little loud. Hello and welcome to Fresno City Toastmasters. I am your president, acting president, Joey Myers. And sorry for the fire drill. A lot of times at Toastmasters, it is a fire drill. And what's nice about that is that there's a three-pronged effort when we come. A lot of people know us about public speaking, wanting to get better at public speaking. But for those, myself included, when I first joined a long time ago, I didn't know about the leadership training part of this and then the evaluation side of it as well. So a lot of times you'll see we talk about Toastmaster wears many hats, and that is whether it's a leadership role, a speaking role, or an evaluation role, we tend to wear many hats, which can cause a little bit of chaos. And maybe a guest like Grace or Cordell might think, oh my gosh, this is a lot. But we only bite off as much as we can chew in the beginning until you get a good understanding of the roles and things like that. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, she's like all these different roles. You don't have to do that from the beginning. So hopefully we give you a good sampling of how our club runs and things like that, and hopefully we're a fit. So what I like to do is, for those that have the agenda, if you're looking at it online, like Grace and Sarah, you're going to see on that first page there, if you're looking at PDF, or if you're in person, that first page, bottom left corner, it's our mission statement. So we like to read that off. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. And I always like to underline the first couple words, a supportive and positive learning experience, because as we've talked about here quite a bit, that public speaking is number one, fear, right above death. People fear public speaking more than they fear dying, which is kind of crazy. But it is what it is, and hopefully we create a supportive and positive learning experience. Those guests here, hopefully that's what you see. So let's start a little club business. We have dues last week that are due, and I think Chanel, I can't remember. I didn't check if she finished up renewing, but I think most of our members have renewed. We have a couple more that we'd love to bring on, and so the dues are, if you sign up, say if you're a guest, it's going to be $65, and that's good for 6 months. Okay, so renewing, when we renew, like when you're a member and you renew, it's $60. So you pay a little bit more as a guest because you get access to the Toastmasters mothership. We're just a district, we're a community Toastmaster, which there are a few in the area. So 65 covers you for 6 months. And so dues are twice a year is what that works out to. So those are due. Any other club business, Denny, Sarah?
Nope. None.
No.
Are you done?
No. What's that?
Are you muted?
Am I muted? Oh, there we go. Cool. Okay, so let's move on from there. And again, Grace and Cordell, welcome, by the way. I know we welcomed a little bit earlier. So Toastmaster of the day, Ms. Denny, I know that I put this on you quick. I found our notes from last week on who our roles were. I found it in the bag. I did it last minute. So Denny's come on up and introduce our theme of the day.
Okay.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Do this. It's showing hers. Let's go to view and gallery, so it's not highlighting. There we go.
Good.
Better?
Yes. Perfect. Beautiful. I'm going to wear dangly earrings today, so they kind of go like this. Our theme today is American Diabetes Association Alert Day. Did you come up with this, Joey?
It was the most interesting day of the days.
Okay. I have learned this past year a little bit about diabetes. I don't have it myself. However, my mother, who's 94, has come to live with us, and she tested diabetic when she was in her 80s. So she's on insulin, and I get to help her with that, as well as her diet. So I get to take readings and learn about blood sugar and diet and all those sort of things, how long it takes for sugar to go up and down, and all the things we have to be careful of. So what I've learned is high blood sugar is bad for your organs over the long haul. Low blood sugar is bad for you right now. We keep a balanced diet at our house. I have to watch what my mom eats, but I don't restrict her. I just have to watch what she eats and make sure she has the right amount of insulin for what she's eating. And I take a pretty holistic approach to the whole thing. I don't want to follow her around or be scolding her or saying, you're eating the wrong thing, mother, or anything like that. I just I do follow her around a little bit, but I just make sure that she's eating what she's supposed to. And every now and then she snacks and make sure that she's balanced out with her insulin, and then we're all okay with it. These are all things to know about, and it's just good diet, little exercise in there, and nothing too extreme, except insulin is a little extreme. That's the way it is. So we're trying to avoid that in the future for everybody else in the household, of course. Now I'm going to introduce our evaluation team. And this is Joey Myers.
Thank you, Miss Denny.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Right one here. So I am the general evaluator of the day. And one of the things that we always like to do, oh, there's Chanel, you split screen in it. Look at that. I didn't notice that before. I saw Sarah up above and then I was like, what's going on there? And then there's Chanel, her bright smiling face. She joined Sarah over there. Did she? Is she just another office? Yeah.
Yeah, she was just downtown, so she stopped by on her way. But now I get a friend.
Very cool. I love that. I love that. Cool. So I'm the general evaluator of the day, and my job is to introduce our evaluation team. And I thought Christine was going to be here. I put her as timer. She's one of our newer members and a local firefighter. So I will take on that role as timer. I have the timer over here. And so we'll go right down the list and introduce our grammarian who has the word of the day, and that's Miss Sarah Dawson.
Well, hi, thank you very much. So word of the day, as the grammarian, I get to be able to introduce a word, and it's always an opportunity to be able to use a new word in different ways and try and squeeze it in so that we get practice expanding our vocabulary and using new words. So the word of the day today is gallivant, and it's an informal word that means to travel, roam, or move about for pleasure. So I've been gallivanting around town, or I like to gallivant across the world just to go see new experiences. Hope you can use it. When it's done, I will report back. And Joey, back to you.
Thank you, Sarah. So right up, can you see it? So Gallivant. So 2 L's in there, just like Cordell, 2 L's. Good word. And Chanel, would you mind, Corinne, did you want to take the 2 roles? We could give Chanel a counter. I know she's really good at that. Did you want to just do the table topics and let Chanel grab the a counter, or do you?
Chanel's down.
Yes, I can do
Okay.
it.
Oh, actually, let's reverse that. Yeah. Chanel, can you do table topics? And then Corinne will do a counter. How about that? And you're good at that too, so.
Yes, I don't have an agenda. What is the topic today?
Topic is American Diabetes Association Alert Day. So it can be either having to do around that, or it could be about any kind. It could be heart disease. It could be health or fitness, nutrition. It could be any part of that. It doesn't have to be diabetes. You know what to do.
Okay, yep.
Okay, thank you, Chanel. Cool, all right. So we'll put Chanel in for table topics. Chanel West. And then I'll bring up our counter then, Mr. Corinne Katenjian.
Well, first of all, I'm not afraid of being the table topics master, but simply it's diabetes and that's the topic. What else we can talk about, right? I'm the counter, which means I'm counting as, is, so, like, or any other word which we inject into our speech, especially if it's a formal speech. Those words are not really necessary to be injected. They distract the attention of the interlocutors, of the speaker, and of the listeners. And I call them the parasite words because they're like crutches. You lean on them while you are still struggling to tell the next idea or sentence. So this is not to discourage you from speech. It's just to basically help you to control your speech, especially if it's a formal speech. Now, in colloquial speech, of course, you can use anything you want, but if you want to have a decent formal speech, then you have to really get rid of those words. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perrin, for that explanation of the odd counter. And that is, for you guessed, Grace Gordell, that's the one that if you forget everything about today, in the past, our guests remember that one. That's the one. So then you start looking after, okay, am I saying like a lot? Am I saying So that's the one thing that our guests always will remember, always. So the next role is the timer, which I will be doing. I took over for Christine, and we have a handy dandy little timer box here. And since we're not doing any speeches or evaluations, so generally we'll have a speech. It could be about 5 to 7 minutes. Those are the average speech ranges. The first speech, so if you're to join, the icebreaker is 4 to 6 minutes. So the 4 to 6 minute speech, usually it's about yourself. It's the easier speech. And then every speech after that, depending on the pathway you pick, and we can talk about that later, the pathway you pick, it could be storytelling, it could be humor, it could be visual aids, it could be body language, whatever the theme of the path is. Then each speech beyond that works on something else. First one's icebreaker. So most speeches are 5 to 7 minutes. We have an evaluator, a speech evaluator, that will be a 2 to 3 minute. They'll give a 2 to 3 minute evaluation of how the speaker did. And then we have table topics. So we don't have the speaker today, we don't have the evaluator today, but we'll have table topics, which will give everybody a chance that wants to do it. Our guests are free to participate in table topics, and they're also free to not participate in table topics. Most of them are pretty good about getting up and doing it, but you don't have to. You can be a fly on the wall. So those are 1 to 2 minute speeches, little speeches, and we'll see what Chanel comes up with today for her table topics. But it'll be a 1 to 2 minute speech, and what you'll see is green at 1 minute. You'll see this red yellow combo. There's a fuse issue in here. That's the 1.5 minute mark, and then you'll see just red at the 2 minute mark, and usually you have about 30 seconds or so to wrap it up from there. So anything over 2.5, which for me, I like to gallivant around. I don't like to be limited to how much time I like to talk. My son over here, who's got a lot of allergies today, so he's joining us. He'll tell you that I like to talk, and he sits and he knows, and he's pretty patient, but he knows Dad likes to gallivant and talk too much. But that's what I'll be doing today, is I'll be timing our table topics so that we can stay on topic. So that's the timer report there. And I think in the last one, Zoom, so I tend to default to that, and all I'm doing there is starting the record and taking the record off. Now, one thing that probably to note is that, yes, if you don't want to be recorded because it's going to go up on YouTube, then just let us know, and we can always push pause and then unpause as we go. That's something that we can do if you want. If you're okay with it, then you're okay with it. But just let us know, Grace, if you decide to speak, or Cordell, just say, hey, can we pause it? But most are pretty comfortable with it. But I will be starting the record and stopping it. That's basically what the Zoom is. If I was online, then I can do the Zoom in the different panes. So if somebody's speaking, I can just make that the screen so we just see that person speaking. And say when we have a speaker and evaluator speaking, I like to have the dual pane. I like to have, you can see both when we're doing it, but I'm not online, so it's a little tougher to do that. So that's what the Zoom master would do. From there, now should I just bring up Chanel? Yep. So at this moment, we're going to move over to table topics, and I'll let Chanel, and it looks like their screen's a little dark. Are you ladies ready? Or at least Chanel. There we go. Boom. All right, Chanel, you ready to go? Table topics.
Yes, sir.
You got it.
As Joey I'll already preface, table topics is the time in our meeting when we get to practice our extemporaneous speaking off the cuff without preparation. I didn't have a lot of time to prepare today since I just found out about 5 minutes ago that I was going to do table topics. With a very interesting topic, no less, of diabetes. I'm not sure who chose that. So exciting. I think what I'm going to do, because I do not want to make every one of you answer the question, do you have diabetes? That might be personal. Is I'm going to expand that topic into a broader question about health in general. So the question that I have for everyone today is how has your health, or share about how your health has had an impact on your life, whether that is positive or negative. I'll start out by sharing away. One of the activities that I started about 3 years ago was running. I started running at the beginning of the pandemic, as a lot of other people did at that time when there was not a lot to do and we were stuck at home. And I had never really ran before in my life or enjoyed it. I'm not very athletic. I didn't play sports very much growing up. And I started running primarily for my mental health, in order to improve my concentration, to help me be able to think more clearly, to help me wake up in the mornings and get my day going, because I'm not a morning person. And running is something that has got me into a more consistent pattern of exercise in my life and being able to get physical activity. And it is something that, for the most part, has affected my health positively, because it has improved my productivity, improved my concentration. The downside to it is that it can impact my health negatively in the sense that then when I do not run or I don't exercise, I lose motivation, I lose energy, my levels go down. And I'm also aware that running is actually not recommended long-term as an exercise because of the negative effects that it has on your knees and your back. And it's a lot of pressure. You're gallivanting all over.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you run on concrete or pavement. So there can definitely be a downside to it, but I think for me right now at my age, there is mostly positives, and it's something that helps me to have energy to get done when I need to. Who would like to go next? Let's see, Joey, there we have you, Corinne, Denny, and then is that who's there?
Yeah, Cordell is here too.
Cordell.
And I don't know if Noah's gonna want. Nope.
Oh, Noah's there?
Yeah, he's got allergies, massive monster allergies today. So he's tagged.
Oh, nice and
Which is
fuzz.
valid health. Yeah. Yeah, you can complain about it. Yeah. Yeah, poor dad dragged him to the baseball field yesterday, and that's what got him all clogged up. But I'll go. So on that subject of health, one of my passionate curiosities is about anti-cancer stuff. And I think cancer has been a boogeyman, along with plenty of other different things like HIV and AIDS. And I think a lot of people diabetes could be heart disease. It could be a big monster where people don't know that there are things that you can do, either when we're talking about type 1 diabetes, which is the born with, and the type 2 is where you can kind of move into. There's ways to mitigate things. And one of my favorites is with nutrition. And usually you let thy medicine be thy food, my food be thy medicine type of thing. And there's a couple documentaries that are really good on this. And one is Food Matters. Another one was the Gerson Miracle, I think, Gerson Miracle. But Food Matters and Gerson Miracle, and that's a rabbit hole. It goes really, really deep. And there's a book called Anti-Cancer by Dr. Schreiber. He was a psychologist who worked in academia. And when it comes to diabetes or heart disease or really any of this, cancer and I have a friend who has cancer right now. He's battling stage 4 pancreatic, I think. And I mentioned to him a diet called keto. And keto is something that is, I think it's an extreme diet, but I think it's something that people should consider that have any of the ailments that we talked about. Keto is high in fat. So that's a 90% fat and a 10% protein. And you really can't have any carbs at all. The really strict ones, you can't have carbs. The carbs you can have are like salad, veggies, things like that. But nothing, no pastas, no breads, nothing, because part of what fuels cancer is inflammation, and inflammation is like a gasoline, and sugar creates a lot of inflammation and things like that. And so you want to cut or almost starve out the cancer cells in that way. So keto is a really, really good example of how to fight back. So in the element of health, anti-cancer is one of my favorite passionate curiosities, and keto is probably one of my newer favorites within the last 3 to 4 years to rabbit hole to go down. So those are my thoughts.
Thank you, Joey. Do we have a volunteer to go next?
Corinne.
Corinne, let's go.
Since we are talking about health, I'm going to talk about tourism, which is connected with health, and that is based on my experience. In 2006, I was trying to climb a monastery in Armenia, and I had to take a very high steps, and I was short of breath. I couldn't really, when I reached the top, I was almost unable to, being a gallivant person, unable to enjoy myself. And I had to really stop, pause, rest before I would start exploring. Well, I'm not an accidental tourist, by the way. I really do my research before going somewhere. And I understood if this goes like this, I'm not going to accomplish my goals of tourism if I want to explore a monastery or a faraway place, which is too high in the mountains. So I came home thinking, what do I need to do? I was sitting at La Boulangerie enjoying my peach Danish and coffee. And then I decided that enough is enough. So I tossed a half-eaten Danish, and I said, I need to go to the gym probably. So that's what I did. It was 2007, by the way, a year after that incident. And there in 2008, I was in Italy visiting the independent, small, tiny Republic of San Marino. And its castle is right at the height, at the top of the hill. You have 3 different levels. People take an elevator to go there. And I said, no, I'm just going to handle it on my own, because I had 1 year of gym and I was already in shape. By that time, I lost some pounds. So lo and behold, I was there on the top without any shortness of breath. And I realized that if I want to be a gallivant, but not accidental tourist, I need to really watch my health. So from there on, I went to the gym, started doing regular exercises, and eventually I'm still trying to do it. I keep up with it. I think that health is very important because, I lost my mom because of diabetes, but that's another story. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I've heard that it's a similar experience trying to climb the Great Wall of China. Quite steep, and there is no elevator.
Right.
Okay, Sarah, Denny, one of you like to go?
Here I'll go.
All right, Sarah's gonna go.
I think I want to avoid this topic because I don't want to admit that I'm actually really unhealthy, especially in the way that I eat. I used to be a runner. Chanel mentioned that she is currently a runner. Well, I used to be one, and I used to be a really good one. And I could eat whatever I wanted and it was just fine. And I always said, well, I run so I can eat whatever I want, and that's why. But then I quit running and I quit doing all the exercises, and I did not change my eating habits, and that's been for 25 years now. So here I am, and just getting back into CrossFit a couple of weeks ago, which is nice because I agree with Chanel in when she talked about being able to do it for health reasons, and you just feel so much better. And so the times that I've gone, I just feel like I have even more energy after I've gone. And it seems counterintuitive, I think is the right word for that, where it's you think you're going to get more tired, but it ends up rejuvenating you and being able to do that. So one step to getting back in health is to start in CrossFit, and then maybe I'll start thinking about changing my health habits. But I really like my chocolate, so we'll see how that goes. Thank you, Chanel.
Thank you for sharing. Sarah. And dark chocolate is good too, in moderation. Right?
That's right.
I can relate to that principle because
Yeah.
I ran a half marathon in
Ooh,
November. And
nice.
then after that, I decided that I needed to take a break from hard running. And so I've been doing like 2 or 3 miles a couple times a week. And boy, has my metabolism just plummeted. Going from training for a half marathon to not running that much.
That's why I moved to bike. We got into the Peloton, the gamified biking, and I never was really much of a biker. I like to go out in nature and things like that, but I mean, just don't have as much time anymore to do that. Plus the climate in Fresno is tough in the summer. It's super hot or it's super cold and it's dark, and it's really hard to do outdoor stuff if you're, especially in the walk of life. We got 2 young kiddos that we're working around schedules, but the biking has really helped a lot. So I do a lot like Sarah's, the spin version is like the CrossFit of the weights, right? So I do a lot of like Tabata and things, and you can get really good workouts in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, where your body still burns calories even past the workout. And that's what CrossFit's about as well. So yeah, it's finding out what fits for you, right? You don't want to break your body down, but then you also want to stay motivated on it. You don't want to hurt yourself. And so it's finding that happy medium.
Yep.
So thanks for sharing.
Constant challenge.
Here she comes, Denny.
All right.
I'm going to bring a little different perspective to this, which is in my life, just me, there are 2 things that I stay away from. One is doctors, and the other is guilt. Both of which I think are very bad in certain circumstances. Now, when it comes to doctors, I respect everybody who loves doctors. However, in my life, I try very hard to keep my health in good shape. This is so much true that I even had my children at home, and 4 of them. Because when I got pregnant the first time, I looked at my husband and I said, I sure hope you can deliver a baby. Yep. So I followed through with that, went to classes, did the whole thing. Because I would prefer to have a baby at home rather than to be out of control of my circumstances in a hospital with people I don't know. I realize there is a place for doctors, of course, broken bones, things like that. My husband, on the other hand, goes the other way. He's very regular about all his medical visits, his medicine, his all of it, you know. So I respect that. Guilt is another thing that I think is just really bad. And when it comes to food, I don't want to eat anything unless I can really enjoy the meal. So when it's healthy food, that's great, but I'm going to make it so I enjoy it. I want to read a book or do whatever I do while I'm eating so that I'm enjoying my food. It does me absolutely no good for my health to eat food that's supposedly healthy and I hate it.
French philosophy.
Okay, well, I am French. Yes, I am. So, good food, enjoyed without guilt. and stay away from the doctors.
Thank you, Jenny.
I appreciate that perspective. I definitely agree with the being guilt-free. I don't think guilt is at all the best motivator for healthy eating or exercise. As far as the stay away from the doctors, maybe we need to give a disclaimer. Fresno City Toastmasters does not endorse all opinions stated on this video.
And he is not a lawyer or an attorney in any way. I love that.
With that, would either of our guests like to join for table topics? Now, if you want to have the option of answering the question, or you can also just tell us about yourself if you would rather do that.
Looks like Grayson.
Yes, I'm one of the population that's terrified of public speaking. But actually, today's topic actually relates. I have something to say about it. Just briefly, and maybe practical side of it. And I thank you for reminding us the American Diabetic Association Alert Day. And I think I really do believe that we don't emphasize enough about the importance of knowing more about diabetes. And it's because I thought I was pretty good health conscious. And as an Asian, of course, I would eat rice and all the related stuff. But I thought I was pretty healthy, and I would trust, our markets. And certainly they wouldn't sell something that is unhealthy. So in my mind, I'll pick and choose supposed to be good stuff. And one day, actually last year, my father had some health issue, and I found out that he is diabetic. The blood sugar level was really high. Oh, okay, really high. And then I thought, how about me? So I actually carry it right now everywhere I go. And I bought blood sugar level kit, and I measured mine, and it was like 155. I was stunned that that's pre-diabetes. And I found out that about more than half the population, maybe 60-70% of population in America are pre-diabetes, and we don't know about it. And then I right away with my dad controlled food and cut all sugar and maybe 80% of carbohydrate. And in 4 months, my level and his too, my level went down to like 125, and I kept going, and now it's about 100. So I tried to keep it there, and I couldn't believe the type of food that I had to cut off from the market. So I'm still practicing my self-control and what to eat, to not eat, not in my standard view, what is good food, what is bad food, but really based on facts, what is healthy, what is not healthy. So it takes some self-control and learning some knowledge and accepting the facts. So thank you.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, one of the big things that I learned in my nutritional quest was the glycemic index. So if you go on Google and you type in foods glycemic index, it'll give you from 0 to 90 plus, 0 to 100. And anything high is high in glycemic. That's going to be your high sugars. Those are the ones you want to stay away from. You want to stay within like the 1 to 30, 1 to 35 range. Those are your best ones. And then you got middle, you don't want to have a lot of between that 30 and 60. But the glycemic index is a great resource for people that are whether it's diabetes or they're very high blood sugar level conscious. So thanks for sharing, Grace. Now, Cordell, you don't have to.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Okay. He was waiting for the call. There you go. All right. It's all yours.
Okay, so let's talk about food, right? Food, I love gallivanting around Fresno looking for the best barbecue and Clovis. Where's the best barbecue? So I was that type of person where I just ate, worked out, ate, work out, ate, work out. But that one time, I went to the doctor and he said, wait a minute, you got high blood pressure. Wait, what? I work out all the time. What you talking about? I got high blood pressure. Come to find out, he said, how's your parents? So my dad has kidney failure, so he's on dialysis. He has diabetes. My mom's father was on a kidney machine, diabetes. So now I'm in a teeter-totter. right? So both sides of the parents has health issues. So if I move over here a little bit with red meat, my blood pressure is too high. Come back over to the middle. So I'm living this life where I'm confused. Yes, I love having the food that, it tastes so good, but then I have to deal with it later. So I'm at that point in life where, okay, I got to take my health serious because I want to be here for my family. I don't want to be my nephew. He just turned 33 and he's on a kidney machine right now. So I have this in front of me every single day, reminding me this is where I could be at. This is where I could be at if I don't take care of what I need to take care of right now. So when it comes to health, I'm pretty serious about it now. I love, I don't run anymore. I walk. So I do the incline treadmill and just walk. It's for 30 minutes. So that's the best thing you can do. That's all I have.
Thank you. I
Appreciate
agree.
you.
Walking is probably the best overall exercise. Good cardio, but not hard on your body.
It's good mentally too, like moving meditation. Yeah. Very good.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for sharing. I will pass the podium back over to our Toastmaster or to our general evaluator.
Cool. Thank you, Chanel. Way to go. With only what you said 5 minutes, I think I gave you 2 minutes for table topics to come up with something. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Chanel. So now we'll look at our evaluation team and see how we did. So first, I want to give a little bit more time to use our word of the day, although I think many of us did, even our guests. And let's go with Corinne. Come up with our counter report, the part that everybody remembers.
So first of all, I fully agree with Denny. Don't eat anything you don't enjoy. I don't think that, because eating is also an art. It's not just calories or grams or whatever. And also when I was eating that peach Danish, I didn't feel guilt. I was enjoying it.
Good.
Simply asked myself, do I have to do it so often? That's a different story. My trainer told me once that if you are really smart during the week, you can eat a whole cow on Sunday. And he's right about it. Just we need to do everything in moderation. That's it. Now, going to accounting, I would start with Joey. He used "and" 6 times, both during the speech and during his general presentation of our Toastmasters theme. He used "so" a couple of times. Chanel, I didn't notice anything. Everything was okay. Denny, the same. Sarah, perfect. No ands, no likes. Just one time you used "so," which is okay. Great.
Are you
Cardell, it was great. You didn't use any of those things I was looking for. And your speech was so impromptu, so enthusiastic. I would just got carried away with it. It was flamboyant, fiery, And Grace, just please watch your ands. You kind of overuse ands in your speech.
You and me, Grace.
Yeah, other than that, everything is fine. No uhs, nothing, simply bunch of ands. Thank you.
Thank you for that report, Corinne. Oh, Ken, your sheet. So, don't grab all that. I need some of that. Hold on.
Yeah.
There's yours. There you go. Yeah. I said you and me, Grace. We both used a lot of ands today.
I had no idea.
Well, all I say is at least it's not and those are the unlike, those are the ones that are really bad ones. And then what happens is you end up trading them for and, so, and or doubling up on certain words. So way to go today. The next on the report, I think it's timer. Let's do timer and then we'll do grammarian. So my timer report on all our table topics. So Chanel came in at 147, perfect. Joey, actually, I didn't run the record today. Wait until you hear some of the other times. I came in at 2:17, so I wouldn't have been DQ'd in a challenge if we would have had a competition on that. Corinne came at 2:39.
Still climbing the cliffs of San Marino.
He was gallivanting. He's gallivanting on the time today. And then Sarah 105, Denny 225, Grace at 220, and then Cordell 139. So it was a race between, it was arms race, timing arms race between Corinne and I. And Corinne beat me. Yeah, he beat me for once. Somebody's actually beat me for once. So that's the timer report. And then last but not least, grammarian report. And that is what Miss Sarah, how'd we do?
Great. Karen used it twice that I heard. Joey and Chanel both once, and even our guest Cordell, awesome job. I still have trouble using that, and you just came in and made it look easy. So great job on all 4 of you who used it.
He said he had time to think about it. So
Gave me the topic.
You gave it
around the word gallivant.
Did you hear that, Sarah? You gave Corinne inspiration today with the word of the day.
Good. Oh, nice. Well, all right.
It's about tourism. That's what he talked about in his table topics.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, Denny goes, only you could relate those 2 words to Corinne. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. Awesome word. I like that word. Yeah. All right. Other than that, I'll give a general eval of the meeting. We started a little bit late, and just because of everything going on, the chaos of getting everything together. And I think we're going to finish on time. If I don't gallivant this time, I think I may be passing the torch to him. So good thing I'm up here today, or else maybe Corinne would get us past the 1 o'clock time. But good meeting. I thought what's great about table topics is we get to learn a little bit about everybody, which is kind of cool. Everybody shared some good stuff, some good juicy stuff, and we always appreciate that. So back to the president side of things, what we'll do now is, first of all, I want to first give a round of applause to our guests who came and saw and conquered and the whole thing. So way to go, way to participate in table topics and be good stewards as guests in our group. So thank you. And then everybody else for
There was a patient guest.
And there was a patient guest over here, Mr. Noah Myers, AKA Noah Mar, like the soccer guy, Neymar, Noah Mar, or Rocky Balboa, are some of his famous, what's the other one? Noah Constrictor, or his famous names. So thank you, Noah. And then the rest of us, way to go for picking up roles that you had no clue, 2 to 5 minutes that you were going to take them. So way to go, team. Great work. Great work. Way to make this run nice and smooth. With that, let's go on the second page. If you have pages, if you have the PDF, then just scroll down to the second page. And we have, so next week is April 4th, which lands us smack in the middle of Easter break. Now, I'm not going to be here, but maybe we can hold a vote on who's going to be here, or if we should just skip it. I put no meeting.
Yeah, I think we skip on a week when we're on a holiday.
Skip?
Yes.
Corinne says yes. Sarah, no.
I'm not gonna be here either.
Oh, you said next week?
So skip next week. Yep.
So
Yeah, I think I'm also not gonna be able to make it.
Okay. So no shit.
Sounds like skipping next week. See you in 2
So
weeks.
Cordell, Grace, yep. So no meet next week if you guys want to come. And we always say that you can come three meetings, kind of check it out, and hopefully we can get maybe a speech scheduled for either the 11th or the 18th. And that would give at least, if Grace Cordell wants to come to those, they can give them a good idea of seeing a speech, seeing an evaluation. So if it's one of us breaking open the vault and breaking out one of the speeches from our past, we can maybe do that, set that together. So on that, so if we're good on April 4th, not meeting, then anybody want to give a speech on April 11th, which is the week following Easter, or the week after that, which is the 18th, out of our group? Obviously not Cordell and Grace. Sarah? I saw her going, shaking her head already. Chanel, you want to break one out of the vault?
I can.
And you want to do the 11th or the 18th? I'll pick one of those. I'll do one of those.
I can do the 11th.
11th. Denny, did you want to?
I'll have to think about it.
Okay. And then I'll go 18th then. Corinne, one of those days?
Speech.
Want to think about it like Denny?
I do have a vault.
I know Denny does have a
I
vault.
do have a vault.
Corinne doesn't have a vault yet.
Don't
No.
say that.
Not yet, I said, yet.
Yet.
Y-E-T, that's the magic word.
Okay, on the 18th.
18th? Hey, all right. Okay, so we got our speeches locked up. So Toastmaster, at least let's cover the 11th. So Toastmaster, gender evaluator, table topics. Who wants to jump in there? So Chanel speaking. Anybody want to jump into those bigger roles
You know,
Yes, I do.
I could speak there also.
on the 11th?
It is, you know,
Well, there we go.
because it's National Pet Day.
Jenny's done some speeches where she's brought her little doggies in.
Uh,
Yes.
Well, National Pet Day. Sarah, do you want to take that, Toastmaster? Are you into pets?
National Pet Day? Did you say National Pet Day?
National Pet Day on the 11th.
Sarah,
Yeah,
I
no,
think-
no.
No? Okay, then I'll jump into that Toastmaster Day.
Annual, just give me a finger
I know. I'll make Sarah evaluator then.
there. Okay.
And then Corinne, do you want to do table topics that day?
Yeah.
Table topics, Corinne. Then I'll jump on timer unless somebody else wants to take that timer. I got Zoom,
I'll do also grammarian.
grammarian, okay, Corinne, and I'll counter. Anybody want to jump on that one? Maybe Denny? Nope, you're speaking.
Yeah.
I staff students.
Chanel speaking. I'll put Christine in there. I don't know if she's going to make it, but I'll just throw her in. And then our evaluators of Chanel and Denny. So that looks like by default, that's going to be Corinne and I, right?
Who's it?
So let's see, I'll
You
do
do Chanel.
Chanel. And then Corinne will do Denny. Okay, cool. We got that set. And last but not least, we still got some time here, are questions. So if there are any questions we got our normal peanut gallery, and that includes Noah over here, or from our guests. Any question? Cordell, how did you find out about us?
Yeah, so I did Toastmasters before at Fresno College,
Okay,
and that was in,
Fresno City College,
Fresno
State.
State.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so I did it at Fresno State.
They had a student club over there?
Yeah, no, they just had a regular meeting.
Okay.
with everybody. So I was over there, I think it was like 2019. I think.
Okay, right before
And
the
then
pandemic.
COVID hit and then everything.
Mm-hmm,
And so then I was online for a little bit, and I was like, I don't like it online.
mm-hmm,
So then I started typing in. My mentor was like, hey, find another Toastmasters. So I started Googling,
mm-hmm,
and then every other one was like 7 p.m. and then I worked nights. And then
mm,
I thought this one. So I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, this is perfect.
perfect.
This is perfect. So I went on the website, typed in the zip code,
Mhm.
down the street from my house.
I was gonna just say, are you around here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally 3 minutes down the street. So
Yeah.
it was
Cool.
perfect. It was perfect. So
Cool.
I brought you guys on there.
very cool, very cool. Well, welcome.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's amazing how people find us. And I know Grace, she mentioned that she was living in Fresno. She was a part of she was a part of our club, I think during the pandemic, but it was online. And then she moved to Modesto and she's back. So any questions, Grace, or what, thoughts on the meeting?
No, I actually never joined. I signed up for it, and I was getting Zoom links every time. But today, it just hit me that maybe I should join. But
Cool.
yeah, thank you for allowing me to join.
Yeah, cool. Did you want me to send you? So you're on our emails. You're on the agenda emails, so you're getting those.
I'm actually I'm not sure. I'm getting so many emails,
Well, let me
but
put your email, Grace.
yeah. IPI
What are you typing?
999.
IPI. So I is in ice.
Yep.
P is in Peter, and then I again.
Yes, 999
999
at hotmail.com.
Hotmail. You're one of the few left Hotmailers, huh?
Yes,
Denny,
I heard that. Yeah.
Denny's giving me the fisheye when I said that. So So you might not be the only one then.
My favorite guy.
Okay, so IPI999@hotmail.com. So what I'll do is I can email you. If you're interested, I'll email you some information, and also Cordell, same thing. I'll email you some information, some links, and then the member app. So I'll have mostly filled out what we need to fill out, and then if you want to join, but you guys can come to a couple other meetings too if you want to just see how it goes. And I know Grace, this isn't your first rodeo at Fresno City Toastmasters, but just let me know if you got any questions. We got his on the sign-in sheet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I may not make it by noon, so forgive me if I don't show up often.
That's okay. That's okay. Some people come every day. Some people come once a month, some twice a month. It just all depends. I know Christine Wilson, she just joined. She's a local firefighter, but she's changing seats, changing hats, I guess. She's going to be more, I think, admin is something she was saying. So her schedule's a lot better. It's a lot more consistent. So she's more during the day, working during the day. So that was her thing. She wanted to join, but at the time it was a little tough for her schedule. Her schedule's starting to get better. Yeah. Very cool. All right. Any other questions, comments?
Still didn't answer
Huh?
about the pets.
Oh, the pets. Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, we just did it.
Yeah. All right, Grace. Well, thank you for coming. And ladies, Sarah and Chanel, I love this screen. That was great. That was a great treat today.
Thank you so
There
much.
you go. All right. Bye, ladies. Thanks for coming.